Scoob. I'm actually 3 minutes late, brother. Isn't that fashionably late, though? What is it? What is fashionably late? 5, 10, maybe 15 minutes? I'll take 3 minutes as being fashionably late. Everybody, welcome back to another live stream. I'm glad to have everybody here. Everyone, come on, let's funnel in this. Let's get in this chat. Blobbles, hey. Claymores, what's up? Lorini, unsubbing, but you're still here, hopefully. Darth Revan, what's up? Scoob, how's it going? Donovan Martin, I read all your comments. Don't worry about that. I got you covered, pal. And there's a lot of stuff you mentioned here that I really agree with. So we're going to get all into this shiz. Nice hat. Thank you, Blobbles. Thank you very much. When it comes to sports, I'm an LA fan. I'm a Los Angeles Rams fan, and that's pretty much all that matters to me. All right. While everyone starts to join the chat, join the live stream, I've got so many points written down on my notepad. I like to write things down for live streams because when I go live, it's raw, right? Like, I'm not going off of any script. So I like to have everything documented and in front of me. So I got like a page and a half of notes that I want to go through. The title of this stream is What Warner Brothers is Losing and New Superman Casting. Obviously, it's, we got the Superman casting yesterday. Everyone has seen that. Anybody who lives in the real world today and has a phone has seen, probably, I'm going to say 90% of people have seen the casting news of Superman. Then what Warner Brothers is losing, there's no trick question to this. This isn't, something you got to think about. It's easy. There's two things. It's money and it's reputation. Warner Brothers is losing a lot in that category, and I think it's gonna get a lot worse. Claymores, 100%. It is gonna pin that. It's a page and a half of Warner Brothers sucks, Warner Brothers sucks, Warner Brothers sucks, because it 110% does. Cannot stand this company. I've made it known to a lot of you during my live streams, during regular videos. I don't like Warner Brothers at all. They've been a terrible company for a little over 10 years now. I'm sure you can even stretch back a little farther than that, where they have just been a terrible company. Completely disrespectful to their creatives, directors, actors, producers. They've got no formula. Their culture is horrendous in every way. And it still seems that even today in the Warner Brothers regime, it is different people leading it with the same type of mentality. And it gives me absolutely no reason to respect this company at all. So we are going to be getting into this. There's a lot going on with Warner Brothers and DC. And there's, two ways of looking at it. I mean, one way you can look at this is you can say DC and Warner Brothers are in an awful, awful position. But we just got the announcement of a new Superman actor for James Gunn's Superman. Superman is eventually going to be on its way. We don't have much to worry about right now. We're going to get Superman and we're going to move on from this dark time and things are going to be brighter from here. Or you can look at it from another way of things are actually only going to get worse from here. This doesn't seem like the best situation they're in, as they haven't been in a good situation for almost the past 5 years now. There is no guarantee good things come from this. However you decide to look at what is going on with these two companies right now is entirely up to you. Maybe, person A is going to be a lot more hopeful than person B or C. That's just how it's going to work. Some people believe, some people don't. Some people are very in between. And that is really the situation right now, especially amongst, these communities, the DC community, comic fan community, the film industry. This is going to be a very uphill battle for them, and we're going to see how it goes. Now, yes, Blobbles, thank you for saying that. I really like the new actor they chose for Superman. So, before I get into anything, I will say right now that David and Rachel are very, very, very good choices for Superman and Lois Lane. They are. You can comment on their acting ability, as I've heard both of them are really good. I have not seen anything with David or Rachel. Although, like at the end of the day, they look like these characters. It is one thing to look like these characters and then not pull off, the character well. Like, they just didn't play them well. I don't think that's going to be the situation here, but regardless, they look the part. So it's a solid casting from that front. Also, too, you know, we can't blame it. I know there's going to be a lot of people who aren't, excited for this movie, and there's going to be a lot of people who aren't excited for the casting news. It's, we can't go out and attack these people. This is their job. This is what they're going to do. They're offered the chance to play Clark and Lois. You're going to jump at that opportunity. I would jump at that opportunity. Would I maybe jump at the opportunity knowing the climate that this company is currently in right now? Maybe not, but regardless, the point stands. That would be, just in general, an opportunity that would be very hard to pass up. So, no matter what, congratulations to both of them for landing these roles and potentially especially for David, leading a future for the DC universe. So I think enough people are in here right now. We'll get more as the stream goes on. And eventually, all your comments, keep them coming here. Don't worry, I will scroll all the way back up, and I will go through everybody's individual comments, and we can have a discussion after. I just got to get some of these points off my chest. It's been something I've been thinking about for a couple of days, and I'm itching to get there. So, okay. After getting that out of the way, I do want to say a couple of things. I am going to potentially be harsh in this stream towards these two companies. I might come off as being a little negative. It is what it is. I think that this situation comes with a lot of negativity. There hasn't been much that this company has done for me or for any of us lately that would make me change my tune about Warner Brothers and DC and their situation, because their situation, Warner Brothers, is so terrible. I'll start with my first point. It's so terrible that what The Flash ended up doing could honestly kickstart the complete demise of Warner Brothers. The Flash did I got you guys, don't worry. I'm going to go off. The Flash did not help anything at all. Like, nothing Warner Brothers and DC needed in even the minuscule amount of a win. It didn't do that for them. And I'm going to go into all the really bad things about this movie. But as if Warner Brothers has not been terrible for so many years, listing off the points that I did earlier about disrespect, culture, ruining visions of creators, ruining contracts with actors and their opportunity to play these characters. The Flash did them no favors. It actually made their reputation far worse. At one point, I thought Warner Brothers was so low on the reputation meter that I was thinking to myself, there is no way to go under, but they found a way. If they succeeded at anything, it was this. They succeeded at proving to me how, and I'm sure many of you, how terrible of a company they are, how worse their reputation can be, and the fact that they can own a property and IP like DC and not make $500 million at the very least on a film that features Flash, Supergirl, 2 Batmans, and a bunch of cameos never seen before in DC films. So, yeah. Breather. Okay. So, it's so bad that they, I'm sure as many of you saw, were offering in the States. I don't know if it was here in Canada. I never saw anything about it. I only saw it on Fandango, I think. They were offering a buy one, get one free for The Flash. Buy one, get one free tickets. And no one was buying them. No one was buying buy one, get one free tickets for the Flash movie. That is how checked out the fans are, the general audiences, and the fact that a lot of people do not want to be supporting a company like Warner Brothers or Ezra Miller. They couldn't get... Yeah. Oh, is that what it was? Buy 2, get 1 free? Okay, well, regardless, you're getting 1 free. Guys, you're getting 1 free. They still couldn't sell it. It was so bad, they had to remove the deal from the site. That's how bad it got. That like, are we for real right now? 5 years ago, 10 years ago, any DC Marvel movie, sci-fi type of film, big blockbuster movies you can think of, if a company ever did buy 1, get 1 free, buy 2, get 2 free, I'm telling you, the theaters would be jam-packed. They put this promotion on The Flash thinking people would be like, oh, yo, people are gonna come to our movie, guy. Nah, no one cared. No one cared when it dropped. No one cared with the millions of pre-screenings you gave them. No one cared when you dropped the deal, and certainly nobody cares now. Pathetic. So, those are my 2 first points. Now, what's really interesting about I'm going to leave this right here. What's really interesting about The Flash is obviously, Warner Brothers is in a position where they are so in dire need of cash. They were going to do whatever they had to do to sell this Flash movie to the general audience. And even though the DC fan base, comic book fan base, is loud, where we sound bigger than the general audience, we are relatively small compared to the general audience. So I understand in one sense why they were pushing this movie so hard and why they were trying to get it off the ground. But let's remember here that for months on end, they were talking about how it's the greatest film since The Dark Knight. We all remember that, right? We all remember that? It's the greatest comic book movie ever made since The Dark Knight. It's better than The Dark Knight. Like, the company Warner Brothers, who produced both the Dark Knight trilogy and the Flash movie, like, they own the DC IP. They were literally sitting here trying to sell you on the fact that a movie we made is better than a legendary movie we made. Like they're competing with themselves. They're trying to make it seem like their movies are better than their own movies. I mean, if anything, wouldn't you maybe want to rephrase it like this is as good as The Dark Knight? And maybe all these people that you're getting to see the pre-screenings and then you're giving them a pretty paycheck to say good things about it, you would maybe then say, hey, don't say it's better than The Dark Knight, say it's, just as good as The Dark Knight. And I'm sure some people did, but a lot of people are saying this is better than The Dark Knight. The funny thing about this whole situation is we found ourselves months before this movie came out that it's better than The Dark Knight, but now that it has dropped, it has become Morbius. It's become a meme. That's what The Flash is. We are in the same conversation of just as good as The Dark Knight. Oh, okay, it just dropped. It is as good as Morbius. So that means it's not good at all. Huh? What? It's just, Warner Brothers, if someone ever comes across this live stream, my channel, I don't know who a part of your company, what type of job you might have, but anybody who works at Warner Brothers, if you see this, good. Karma is a bitch. Good. I could not be any happier that this would happen to a company more than yours. Like this is just proof that your company has no standing with general audiences or people who respect their time and money the way they should. People are speaking with their wallets, and they're certainly not giving you any time of day. Do I want Warner DC to succeed? 100%. Have I seen The Flash? No. Maybe if I did see The Flash, I would end up being like, oh, you know what? It's actually not that bad. I don't really know. Based off the things I've seen, I really don't care to watch the movie. Regardless, this isn't even about DC. This is about Warner Brothers. I could not be any more happier than this is happening to you. I cannot stand this company. They do not deserve this IP. They don't deserve any more second, third, fourth, fifth chances. So, there we go about that point. Now, this is one that's really interesting. If The Flash ends with its projected sum, which, by the way, out of curiosity, I'm going to check right now where The Flash is in box office, because I checked the other day, and it was at 177. I think it crossed 200. Okay, worldwide it is at 214 million, and domestically it is at 91 million. I mean, guys, 214 million is what this movie probably should have hit on the Tuesday after its release, let alone the Monday. 91 domestic, not even internationally, it's at 123. International number is what it probably should have hit in its opening weekend. Maybe, probably more. I'm going to say 160 is probably what it should have hit. Yeah, so there you go. Donovan said it. It's going to lose Warner Brothers 200 to 300 million. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. They are, so what did I write here? I said, they are on the brink of losing 200 to 300 million, and this was the kicker. If they end with their projected sum, which I believe they're expecting to end their theatrical release with 250 to 280 million, which is just depressing and embarrassing in every way. They won't even have enough money to pay off their marketing campaign. And for anybody wondering how much their marketing campaign is, it is upwards of $150 million. They will not be able to pay that back. And if they can pay any form of it back, I doubt it'll even be half. That is absolutely terrible. Like I said, embarrassing, disgusting, despicable. Holy crap. Now, I should have kept that box office open because I want to be sure about this. But I don't want to say it yet. I want to be right. If I'll say it even if I'm wrong, but let me just check. I want to see exactly, you know, where the highest numbers are coming from because I know it hasn't been good there as of lately with a lot of DC movies. Um because from what I understand, no, the China has completely checked out of DC. I don't think China really cares about DC projects anymore. I think the last DC project they really tuned into was Aquaman, and then after that, it all fell apart, as we all know. Um, so yeah, still trying to look at it here. All I'm getting is its opening, but I'm not getting. Uh, Let me see. Oh, okay, hold on. I think I might have found it here. Okay, so it seems as if in China, The Flash has only made 13 million for their country. It's only made 13 million, maybe a little bit more at this point since numbers got to be updated. But like that's not a good sign at all. China is the second when it comes to North America. It goes Canada and America, so North America, then it goes China. And then after China, I think you have United Kingdom, so England and all those other ones there. And then Europe after. So, I mean, the fact that China's not even tuning into these movies anymore and they're a huge hitter for these types of films, that says a lot. The damage is ever so evident, like it's evident, you know. Warner Brothers hasn't just damaged the fan base here in the States and Canada and North America, it has damaged it worldwide. And I think they're losing a lot of trust from people, which is a very good thing because we need out of this goddamn company. um this was another interesting thing. A lot of people like to watch movies now on streaming services. Some people don't go to the theaters anymore. Even though that the box office is its main source of income for pretty much anything that happens with these films. The interesting thing is that when this movie hits streaming services, which I believe it's supposed to hit at the end of July, beginning of August. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me know in the comments if I'm wrong. Regardless, apparently, even if The Flash were to become a cult classic, everyone watched it on streaming services and was like, wow, this movie is unbelievable. It is amazing. Very unfortunately, it wouldn't even break even. It would make money, but it would not even break even. It wouldn't. It would not generate enough money on a streaming service to bring it up to its value of making it a success in terms of its budget and all the other money that they owe to other companies for supporting this film. So bring it to streaming services, yeah, okay, hits digital on July 18th. So it's not even a month from now. That's like 3 weeks. So yeah, I mean, release it on digital, they'll get a little bit of income from it, but it sure isn't going to help them with the debt of their movie, let alone the debt of the company, because just if anybody doesn't know and wants to know the total, Warner Brothers is in $49.5 billion of debt. $50 billion essentially. $50 billion of debt. That is not something you can, just shoo away. That's a situation where, like I said with my very first point, the Flash could have possibly sealed Warner Brothers' fate. This company could honestly crash, burn, and potentially be no more. Or, like I've been saying for a little while, it will potentially be sold to another company so that they can do with DC what they see fit. And if that would be to keep Gunn and go on with his world, or if they were to just be like, nah, reboot once again, that's up to them. But regardless, it is just not a good look. And Warner Brothers is not in good standings right now. Now, I think moving on a little bit from the Flash here. Yeah. So when we have, yeah, the next two, Blue Beetle and Aquaman. Especially Blue Beetle, I'm not telling anybody to not be excited for Blue Beetle. If you're excited, you're excited. I don't blame you. This is the first time we're ever getting Blue Beetle on in live action, and this is just something different from seeing, you know, your usual characters that we always see. Um, Although it is not the time to be releasing these movies. I mean, Blue Beetle, from a lot of the things I've heard, it is either a 6 out of 10 or below. It is nothing more than that. And when you look at Aquaman, we've all heard what's been going on with Aquaman. What is the point of even releasing this movie? Honestly, call it a day. Send that thing into the trash, and you know what? Burn the trash can while you're at it. Just get rid of it. Get rid of any trace of that Aquaman film. You know, if the one problem with the Flash that, you know, many people can pinpoint, the reason they don't want to see it is, oh, Ezra Miller. I don't want to watch that guy. I don't want to support that guy. How will it get any better for Aquaman? Oh, Amber Heard. I don't even care, and I'm not saying I'm saying this, I'm just saying in general, I don't even care if she's in it for 2 or 3 minutes. I don't want to watch that. How is anything going to get, you know, resolved there if you keep her in the movie? That's going to keep people away no matter what happens. So you know, Blue Beetle and Awkward Man, which is going to be awkward when you watch that movie and it makes no money. Blue Beetle and Aquaman are 2 more movies we have to get through before we can get into 2024, where 2024 is the quiet year and 2025 is James Gunn's Superman film, which I still think is a completely wrong way of going at it, but I'm not CEO. So, can Warner Brothers survive these next 2 films? Yeah, sure, they got Barbie. Barbie's gonna be a hit for them. That's fine. Barbie can be a hit for them all they want. One hit isn't going to spare you from the disaster your company has been for so long. I have dug deep and found some information on Blue Beetle moving towards its release, its opening weekend. And let me find the number here. I wrote it down somewhere. Okay, yeah. Apparently, as of right now, their early projections for Blue Beetle is ranging anywhere from 18 to 40 million in its opening weekend, and it will lose over $100 million for the company, because I think what we're looking at here is if the Flash isn't gonna make you your money, how in the world are we going to expect Blue Beetle to make you your money? I mean, I understand the Flash has a lot of reasons why people aren't seeing it and why people aren't, supporting it. But like, Black Adam made more money than that film. And now it's a race for Shazam, Fury of the Gods, and the Flash film. So let me see. I want to see what Shazam made worldwide. Okay, so never mind. It's not a race. They already beat him. Shazam, oh my gosh, that's so despicable. Shazam made 133 million worldwide. So, yeah, that's already a massive loss for Warner Brothers right there. A huge amount of money to lose. So yeah, Blue Beetle right now is not expected to be making any really big change for Warner Brothers. And DWA 98 Blue Beetle budget was 120 million if I remember correctly. So yeah, now here's the thing. This movie could make 120 million dollars at the box office and you're still not breaking even. I think if that is the case, Blue Beetle would need to roughly make 380 to 450 million worldwide. And I'm sorry, I don't see Blue Beetle even making over 350. I don't know if Blue Beetle will make over 300. I don't trust it. I don't trust anything coming from the studio at this moment. Yeah, Blobbles, I have to agree. Blue Beetle is definitely going to flop. So let's just hypothetically say Blue Beetle flops. It's a huge disappointment. Will James Gunn now go back on his word that Blue Beetle is no longer in the DCU? I don't know how that works. And then as for Aquaman, if that movie flops or possibly even gets canned, just simply put, can Warner Brothers survive another 2 flops? And I'm telling you right now, if Warner Brothers and Blue Beetle are both disasters, which we know one will be, Aquaman will be, I'm telling you, in the 2024 year, we are going to see a lot of drastic things happen with this company, whether it be good things or bad things, which is eventually going to lead me to my future points here, but I still got a couple more I want to get through. Let's see. I wrote them in different order, but I want to kind of, stay within the topic. Okay. So, yeah. Now, Warner Brothers, they, over the past couple of months, and even currently, they have been closing down a lot of offices and locations. They have also been laying off a ton of people because, well, this company has absolutely no money, and that's to be expected. Now, how do you avoid people talking about DC and Warner Brothers and constantly talking about how terrible your company is and how terrible this IP is being handled? Well, you announce it with the new Superman actor and the new Lois Lane actress. That's what you do. That's how you divert the conversation from getting people to talk about the Flash flop to the new Superman movie and hopefully get people excited for the future of the DCU. Now, here's the problem with that is you risk a lot of things. Obviously, we are no stranger to how these characters have been casted before in the past. People are mean. Okay, that's just how it is. People will go after everything but their acting ability. When people judge actors getting the role for specific characters, they get judged on anything but the acting ability they can bring to the table. Now, I've said I like the choices. I think it's smart. I think it's safe, though. I think it is an extremely safe option to go with these two, and I'll explain. Um, what you're risking here is, like I said, one, everybody just being mean, because that's what's gonna happen. Um, I literally saw an article. I'm forgetting the company right now. I literally saw an article that said, breaking news, David Corenswet being attacked online for not looking like Superman or something like that. And all I could think to myself is like, is that actually breaking news? Haven't we gotten to a place on the internet where we already knew this was going to happen? We just got to ignore those very specific type of people. Anyways, so one, you risk that. Two, you risk people calling him Henry Cavill Light or Henry Cavill 2.0 or Henry Cavill's clone, Henry Cavill's brother. It doesn't matter. You do risk that. I've been seeing it everywhere. And it's not stopping it. It's actually gaining more of an audience for people who are doing that. And whereas a lot of people don't think he looks like him, a lot of people do think he looks like him. Personally, I do think he has a very striking resemblance to Henry Cavill. What I will say is it's to be expected because we're still in the height of letting Henry Cavill go. There is a big reason why people will not let go of Henry Cavill. And I don't necessarily blame those people. I will get to the whole Henry Cavill discussion eventually. And then third of all, you do simply risk the fact of getting people who are saying, don't care, want Henry Cavill, and just riddling it with hashtags. And funny enough, a lot of the posts about him being Superman, I have simply just been seeing the top rated comments being Henry Cavill comments. So, yes. Do you move the conversation from the Flash over to the future of the DCU? You do, but you're also bringing it right back to where you don't want it to be, and that is back to Henry Cavill's Superman. No matter what they do here, they're risking a great deal with the fact that they can no longer control the narrative. Warner Brothers, DC, Zaslav, James Gunn, unfortunately right now, they cannot control the narrative of DC because honestly, they've ruined this brand so much. The narrative is shit on this company. That's basically what the narrative is right now, and there's no stopping that. So continuing from that, another big reason why I think that David and Rachel were announced the way they did, not only was it convenient timing with The Flash being a flop, let's give something people can sink their teeth into for the future, but also too, if the actors strike does happen, they needed to lock in these two actors into these roles so that pre-production of Superman can slowly but surely move forward. That is what needed to happen. Now, we don't know how James Gunn is thinking about it. Obviously, James Gunn will tell you one thing, but a lot of the times he actually means another thing. Maybe this wasn't their first choice. I've heard rumors, and I don't know how accurate this is, but I've heard rumors that it was actually Zaslav who wanted this kid. I shouldn't even be calling him a kid. He's older than me. But there are rumors that this Zaslav wanted this guy ages ago. And they decided to just go with him now because of this actor strike. And if the strike kicks in, there's no guarantee they get him for a certain amount of time. It's better to be safe than sorry. So because the actor strike is going to potentially happen, they needed to lock somebody in. So it is a huge fear of being too late. Simple as that. So that happened, and I am in firm belief that those are the two reasons why they were announced yesterday. To keep everyone away from the Flash conversation and the actors strike. I 100% believe those two things. Now, what I will say as well is, once again, congratulations to David and Rachel for getting these roles for Superman and Lois. Although, I will say, if I was an actor, director, producer, which I hope to be one day, but if I was either of those three, and if I was an investor in these companies or an investor in these superhero films, I would strongly suggest staying away from DC and Warner Brothers. I wouldn't go anywhere near these two companies. I just would not do it. They've proven time and time again why they can't be trusted. I mean, I'll just say this right now. Do I think overall it was probably a good idea that they scrapped the Batgirl film? Yeah, I do. But how do you think those people feel about their movie getting canned? How do you think they feel about the fact that, for example, Leslie Grace got to play Batgirl, a very prolific character in DC, her own live action film? And then Warner Brothers said, yep, no one will ever see the light of day and for that film. And, we won't be in touch. Have a good one, Leslie. That sucks. That's pretty shitty. That's a really shitty move on Warner Brothers. And I know I've defended the cancellation of Batgirl because I do think it is the right move. Although, what situation do we have to be in with this company if we're talking about cancellations on superhero films or films in general that have already been made? It's just not good. If we're already if we're talking about that with this company, if we're in that conversation, you gotta know that somewhere this company's going down the drain. It is just a sinking ship. So that's not a good thing. That's not a good look. I would simply stay away from Warner Brothers because it's a terrible situation over there with the added mixture, the most important thing, of no money. They don't have money. How they're going to fund this future DCU is completely beyond me. Unless Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk decides to open their pocket and give them a fat loan, I really don't know how they're going to do it right now. That's why I have a lot of doubt on the future of DC. And that goes into the next point I have. I don't have many more. But Superman Legacy is supposed to come out in 2025. I don't think it will. I think Superman Legacy, it's supposed to be July of 2025? Yeah, make that July of 2026. Maybe even the fall of 2026. Because if this writer's strike does not end, if the actor's strike is a lot longer than we think it'll be, there's no way they're gonna get that movie into production by next January and release this film by July of 2025. And Even if they did, that's just going to mean it is a horrible product they're releasing, but that is completely in, pattern with Warner Brothers. That is something they would do, so maybe I'm wrong about that. But as long as these not companies, but as long as these unions are in strike, and the fact that Warner Brothers has no money, they got nothing. They got zip, nada. I don't know how they're gonna pay off their debt, but they got nothing. So unless something miraculous happens, there's a good chance this movie ain't going to come out in 2025. And honestly, I know a lot of people don't want to hear it. There's a good chance it might not even come out in the first place. That's just how I see it. I'll talk more about that in a second. Now, I will say people can say what they like about James Gunn. People don't like James Gunn. People like James Gunn. People hate James Gunn. People love James Gunn and think he's the savior of DC. Not really sure how anybody could think that right now. There's no proof to it, but regardless, it doesn't matter. People can think what they want about the man. I mean, me personally, I don't hate Gunn. Do I think some of the decisions he has made have been good so far? No. I think the fact that he rallied behind the Flash was not a good look. He probably should have distanced himself from the Flash and honestly not, been involved with the Flash in any way. The whole Henry Cavill situation is mind-blowing. Some of the lies he's just blatantly made. I mean, there's a couple of things that he's done I simply don't really like. I won't get into details about that because that's not really what my point is about here. So, I don't love James Gunn as CEO of DC. I don't think it's the right move. I don't think it was the right hiring. But even worse than James Gunn is Peter Safran, guys. How is Peter Safran co-CEO of DC? All this guy has done is just produced flop after flop after flop. Like nearly everything he's touched has been a box office failure. How is this guy co-CEO? It does not make sense to me. I don't understand how Zaslav looked at everyone and said, okay, Gunn's one thing, but he looked at everyone and said, Peter Safran, bro, he's the financial guy I need. The financial guy who loses you money? All right, go for it. Actually, that's better for me, somebody who hates your company. Hire a guy who will only put you farther into the dirt. That's good with me. Unbelievable. You thought at one point this company was trying to actually stand on their own 2 feet and get better than where they were before. And no, they proved otherwise. $10 from AMD. Love your channel. Keep it up. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Yeah, Donovan, you're right. Gunn to me is the lesser evil. Yes, he is. Peter Safran, I mean, I look at that guy's face and I wouldn't trust him. It's just, I can't believe that we're in a situation where he's the co-CEO, a guy who just loses the money. And hey, if that's how you want it to be my guest. Warner Brothers, and I will never stop repeating this, they deserve nothing more than to fall and to lose this IP. They don't. So, those are all my points. I've said what I've had to say. Now, before I start looking at everybody's comments, I gotta say one thing about Superman. because this is the one thing that has been really on my mind. It's something that I really have to mention, and that is for anybody out there who wants to tell you, move on from Henry Cavill. You shouldn't be mad that Henry Cavill is no longer Superman. It's over. We have a new actor. One man is not supposed to be a character forever. Blah, blah, blah. I will just say this to you. No, you don't have to move on. Honestly, you heal with this on your own time. I don't want to make this sound more dramatic than it needs to be, but for real. You know, that character touched a lot of people's hearts, especially the actor. You know, Henry Cavill portrayed that role so well. Doesn't matter what you think about the movies, he as an actor just did a damn good job, and he's a lovable human being. So, I will say, I completely understand if you are mad that there's a new actor right now. I completely understand if you don't want to watch a new Superman movie that's not having Henry Cavill as the lead as Superman. I get it. Because simply put, it is just not fair. The way this whole situation was handled. You know, when you follow the lines of what has happened, the history book of what has happened with Henry Cavill and Superman, you know, here we were fighting for ages for this man to come back, and Warner Brothers just wouldn't get it through their thick skull to bring him back. And finally, look, I'm not saying The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, was the answer to the DC problems, but I gotta say, he gave us the one thing that 95% of fans wanted, and that was Henry Cavill to return as Superman. That's what he gave everybody. He brought Henry Cavill back. After years of fighting for him to come back, he finally returned, was told to announce his return. Then James Gunn moves in and says, nah, you're out, bud. So, do I think it was wrong? Yes. I don't agree with that move at all, because it will have lasting damage on this studio and this IP. This is not something that will be cleared up at all. It is one thing if Henry Cavill made, Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, okay? It's one thing if Henry Cavill made these movies, and after these movies, maybe even just Man of Steel, after that movie, the way it did with Superman Returns, they're just like, we're not continuing. It's not happening. We're not moving forward. It's dead. And Henry Cavill's one chance as Superman came and was gone, okay? The problem with this situation is that it was carried on for so long. There were times where we knew Henry was coming back, but then someone kiboshed it. He was coming back, someone kiboshed it. And the moment we actually get him back, it was another kiboshing by James Gunn. I do not blame anybody for being upset that that guy is gone, and I don't blame anybody if they don't want to watch the next Superman movie. I don't blame anybody if they don't want to. So that's what I'll say about Henry Cavill. I completely 150% get it. As for the DCU moving forward, I gotta get ready for this one. I'm going to say this right now in this chat. I'm sure a lot of people, maybe people will get mad at me. Maybe people simply won't like what I'm about to say, but I'm going to say it. I'm going to say something very bold right now. I do not think is the key word before anyone wants to accuse me of anything. I do not think the DCU is going to happen. I don't. I've been thinking about this for a long time. And long time being a couple of weeks, thinking about where this company is right now, what was going to happen to this company during the Flash, what's going to happen moving forward, what they're going to look like. I simply do not believe the DCU will happen. And if the DCU happens, it won't carry on with too many projects. I think you might get 3-4 projects and that's it. At the end of the day, I do not see how a company who has no money can afford to release these big budgeted films. I don't see how a Superman movie has a budget less than 150 million. I don't see how that's possible. And I do think Warner Brothers could get sold to a company. Like, I see your comment there, Donovan. If Warner Brothers sold Universal, would they want Gunn's plans or not? That's the question. I could see Warner Brothers getting sold to a Universal or another big budgeted company. The question now is would the management over there say, all right, Gunn, you now have a budget, continue your stories? Or would they say, we don't like what you're going for, see ya? I don't know. No one has the answer to how that would work. That's all, speculation. This is all speculation, what I'm saying right now anyways. But yeah, I don't see it happening. I don't even know if we'll get to the point where we get a trailer for the Superman movie. And before, I'm going to say this. This has happened before. This has happened to many movies and shows over time where everything has been set. Directors, writers, producers, actors were involved. There's been test screenings and costume tryouts. Everything has moved forward. They've even filmed the movie or the show and it got canceled and never came out. I like one of the biggest things for DC and Warner Brothers was George Miller's Justice League Mortal. You can find that picture online. Everyone was suited in their costumes. The only thing that movie needed to do was film. That's it. And it got canned. So, no, Ron6751, I'm not getting way too negative. I am just simply speaking the factual information that this company has no money. I would be happy to be wrong. If DC moves forward and it's actually going to work out and it is a vision I am interested in, I will accept that. But when I look at how this company looks right now, I don't see how they can move forward. I don't even really know how the Batman 2, Matt Reeves' Batman, is getting a budget to make a film, unless it's going to be a relatively smaller budget, which, by the way, what was the budget for the first Batman? The Batman film budget. Yeah, it was $185 to $200 million budget. Like, that's really big. Look, I know there will be some people who think, You're being very negative, very pessimistic, and it is what it is. I do not see how this company can right their wrong right now. I just do not see how it's possible. This company has done far too much damage to make me convinced that, oh, Gunn's got this handled. Sorry, they simply don't have me like that. They've been trying to do this for years and it hasn't worked. Warner Brothers, unfortunately, um reminds me of a company that it's literally like, if there's even a sliver of a chance that we can make a DC universe, we're just gonna keep funneling money we don't have into it, and we're going to just keep giving it a shot even though we don't have an audience anymore. A lot of people are checked out of DC. And I know a lot of people are saying, well, it's Superman. They'll go see Superman in 2025. Since when did Superman ever become a billion-dollar maker in comic book films? The only characters that have been capable of doing that on a more consistent basis are Batman properties, Spider-Man properties, and of course, Avengers films. Superman is not known for making $1 billion in the box office. Man of Steel, which I think is the best Superman movie and one of the best comic films ever made, Man of Steel almost made 700 million, and it didn't. It made 668 to be exact. Maybe there's a couple of, give or take 20 or 30 million that was left off the final numbers. Maybe it was 700 million, but overall it didn't even make 700 million. So I simply don't see how Warner Brothers and Ron, see, I have to disagree with you on that one. Superman doesn't need to make $1 billion. Okay, fine. It doesn't need to make $1 billion, but it needs to make 700 or 800 million worldwide. And here's two things it has to do. It has to make quite a bit of money, and it has to be critically or even fan reception. It needs to be well received. Before, we could have been in a situation where it was really received well by the fans, but it wasn't huge in the box office. We can make another one, see what happens. Or it was, people didn't really like it, but it made a lot of money. Let's make another one and see if we can do that again. I think we're in a situation where we have been absolutely just destroyed by Warner Brothers and DC, that it needs to do both. It needs to be received very well by the fan base, and it also needs to make a lot of money. And Claymores, thank you so much, brother. $10. Would it be smart if they doubled down on the Batman universe instead of the Gunn plan? I am actually going to talk about that right now. That was one of the next things I was going to say. 110% yes. I think the future of DC is going to be back to Elseworld stories. I made a video a couple of days ago where I talked about all the problems that were going on within Warner Brothers. And I talked about how a new connected universe probably is not the answer right now. And it should probably just be going back and making Elseworld stories. As much as it hurts to say that, because I want nothing more than to have a connected universe, I don't think it's the time right now. The fan base is so fractured, and even if people don't want to believe that, it is fractured for a very good reason. This is not something that can be, my God, my eye's itchy. This is not something that can be fixed overnight. 1 year of 2024 where we're still getting DCU projects, by the way. We're still getting Creature Commandos and we're still getting Waller. Two TV shows I just don't think are going to be a big hit at all. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll see. But regardless, 1 year is not enough to make up for these problems. I mean, if you really want a connected universe, I'm saying here, guys, we gotta wait until 2028. We gotta wait a long time. And now the argument will be, well, why would this company wait if that now means more money is left on the table for Marvel to take away? And yes, that's a fair argument. My argument to that would be, why not? You've already left a shit ton of money on the table for Marvel over the past 5, 6, 7 years. What's a little bit of extra money to go to Marvel now? You know what I mean? That's just how I see it. No matter what you do now is not helping you with money. It's actually losing you money, but it's not just losing you money, it's losing you money. Like, you're losing a huge chunk. So, that is just my opinion on things. I don't think the DCU is going to happen. I don't think we will be in a situation where 2025 will roll around and we're gonna be getting started on a DC universe, as much as it pains me to say. I just don't think it's the time. And unless another company gets a hold of Warner Brothers, or if Warner Brothers miraculously finds a way to pay off their $50 billion debt, I do not know where they are going to get the money to make the DCU. And for that, I'll be honest with you, I am just waiting for the day, probably sometime in 2024, where we hear DCU is canceled. That is how I feel about the situation right now. Don't think it's going to happen. Although I don't think the DCU is going to happen. Although what I will say is, if Warner Brothers does start to get their shit together and somehow this company starts to look a bit better moving forward, maybe I'll change my tone. But right now, I don't. And I won't. That's just how I see it. And I mean, I'm not even gonna pretend like I'm the only one who sees it that way. There are a lot of people. Look anywhere you want. There are tons of YouTube channels. There are, Twitter. Should we really take Twitter all too seriously? Regardless, there are people on Twitter. There are so many people on social media platforms who all think that, the DC universe isn't even going to happen. And if it happens, it's not going to make it far. But then again, you have a lot of people who think it is going to happen and that we're heading for a brighter future. I don't know. Who knows? This is all speculation. I'm just, trying to give you as much information as I can about what their money situation is and how tainted their brand has become, and the fact that they have lost fans. It just is what it is. That's facts. That is factual information. That is what has happened to this company. That is what they have done to us. They've really fractured this situation. So, we'll see what happens. I'm gonna start getting into everybody's comments here, and as I scroll back up to the top, where I'm gonna talk to everyone here, I will say as well that maybe if the DCU happens, right now what it feels like is, if they do somehow find a way to make money that gives them a little bit of breathing room for some of these budgets. What I will say is, take your victory when you can, DC and Warner Brothers, because there is no guarantee that within the next 5 years, connected universes is what people will want anymore. I mean, Transformers is trying to do it with G.I. Joe right now, and that Transformers movie is not doing well in the box office. Let me actually quickly check. And I want to see that one. I haven't watched a Transformers movie in years because I lost trust in Michael Bay. But I don't think this one is doing well. Let me see. Transformers Rise of the Beast. It's 344 million worldwide. Like, that's a lot less than what they would have wanted it to be. And I think a lot of people are getting burnt out on reboots and redos. I don't think they want that anymore. I think people are getting really tired of it. And yeah, I mean, I can keep saying the same thing over and over again, but the simple fact is this company has no money, and the DCU off of reputation is not off to a good start. I mean, you're asking David Corenswet to come into this studio and say, "Hey, David, you see that steaming pile of hot trash? Yeah, that's the Flash. Anyways, that's what our company kind of looks like as a whole, just a lot bigger and a lot stinkier. Do you want to come in and lead this new universe as Superman?" In a lot of ways, you could be leading this guy up for success. So, yeah. Anyways, I've talked enough. Let me read some of these comments. Let me go back. Let me see what you guys are saying. I need a sip of water. I'm getting heated. But I'm also getting really passionate. Because this is how much movies mean to me, and this is how much DC means to me. So let's see what we got going on here. Yeah, so earlier Donovan said Warner Brothers is currently selling music assets to either Sony or Universal top two bidders. And I do cover that in my video, which I am actually going to post the link in the comments if you guys haven't watched it and you do want to see what I have to say. Here y'all go. There you go. Universal, I think, could be a solid company to take the DC IP. Sony, I would be very nervous. I know this is about music, but when I look forward into the future, I gotta be honest with you. Warner Brothers is either going to be sold or they are going to sell more than just their music IP. They're going to start selling off some of their own original creations. They might even start to sell off DC to make up some of their money. So, I mean, with Universal, I'd be a-okay with it. With Sony, I'd be a little nervous. Yes, they've done good with Spider-Man, but when they try to do movies not revolving around Spider-Man, usually the movies suck. So, I don't know, but maybe getting DC would get them back on the map. Would that be good for us as fans and general audiences, though? That is certainly the question, so I'm not too sure. All right. Okay. Guys, regardless, agree with me or not, I'm very happy all of you are here. I really appreciate it. If anyone hasn't in this chat, hit that thumbs up button. It really helps this stream get to other people so we can grow this community. Let's see. Guys, it's just such a crappy situation we're in. Like I I don't even want to sound this negative, but unfortunately, that's what this company has done to me. And that's what these CEOs and executives have done to my way of thinking. Like, there's no reason I should believe that Warner Brothers is ever going to change the way they are. So, yeah. All right. What are you guys saying here? What are you guys saying in this chat? Let's see. DWA98 said it's an odd choice by Warner Brothers to just throw out a character like Blue Beetle that nobody in the general audience is aware outside of comic fans. No build up, just here's Blue Beetle, guys. Like what? Agreed. Yeah, I agree with that. Blue Beetle is a really cool character, but did he deserve his own solo film right now? No. The only reason why he's getting his own solo film is because Warner Brothers is in a situation where they say, we hear everybody screaming for Henry Cavill back and a Man of Steel too, but maybe we should make a Blue Beetle movie. That's on them, though. Stupid, idiotic company. If, like you said, though, if he was built up, that's a much different story. Lurini says, I don't see how you make a Superman movie without lengthy post-production, unless you have a lot of Daily Planet slice of life stuff. Oh, please don't speak that into existence. I don't want to see it. I'm sorry. I'm done with it. I personally don't want to see the whole journalist Daily Planet lifestyle again. I don't like it. It's fine if it's there and it's fine if it's in scenes, but if it is a huge focus, I'm not feeling it. And I have heard that Superman Legacy is supposed to be very similar to Superman Returns. And if that is the case, I don't want to judge it too early, but if that is the case, you will lose me because I didn't like Superman Returns. It's one of my least favorite Superman movies made. So I hope not. Personally, for me, I hope not. Yeah, the Claymores, kind of worried it'll be a Superman Returns remake. The problem with Superman Returns is just the mold and atmosphere of the movie. But then again, it's really hard to make a Superman movie because a lot of the Superman fans just kind of squeak their way out of the woodwork. So if you make a Superman movie that's, a little more hopeful, lighthearted with less action, and mainly the action in the movie is him just flying around, well, then the complaint is going to be, this is boring. We've already seen this before. This isn't fun. I want more fighting. But then if you go the Man of Steel route and give what people have been asking for, it now becomes, where's my hopeful Superman? Where's the man in the blue and red trunks and blah, blah, blah? Superman is a really weird character that it's like no matter what you do with him, people are not on the same page with the character. That's another reason why I don't even know if that movie gets made. I don't know if it'll be a success because of that. Man. Let's see. Larini also says, we're getting more Cavill tomorrow with Witcher Season 3. Yeah, I actually would have started watching The Witcher if I didn't, know that the producers just butchered that show and have no care for the video game and don't want to go that route. And now, because of that, I'm not sure if I will ever watch it. But I've seen clips with him, and Cavill is so good, guys. He is so good in that role. It's really unfortunate that he just wasn't respected more when it came to the information he knew about the game. Brown Destroyer, I think Warner Brothers can't afford Henry Cavill, and that's why they didn't want him. Yeah, they don't have the money to afford Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill is a AAA star who's going to afford a pretty payday. David Corenswet, that's not what he's going to get. He's in the affordable range. The question is the budget affordable? And it's probably not. Oh, it's not probably not. It is not affordable. How they'll get the money, though, I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, Brown Destroyer, you also said, does anyone understand the Flash movie post-credit scene with Aquaman? Like I said, I haven't seen the movie. Probably won't watch the movie. Maybe I'll watch it when it comes on streaming, but even then, I'm not like in a rush to do so. Although I've seen clips of it and I've seen the after-credit scene. So, spoilers. If nobody wants to know, click away briefly or mute me briefly. If you want to mute me, stay in the chat. What I'll do is I'll put my finger up like this, which means I'm done talking about it. So mute me now if so. What I actually think it is, Claymores, or not Claymores, Brown Destroyer was your question. What I think the situation is here is the way the movie ended with George Clooney, Bruce Wayne, the situation that when he's trying to explain to Aquaman, the whole timeline problem. Honestly, I think it is just one big throwaway. I think it is a situation where they just wanted to, hey, put something funny in here. Let's just have fun with it. This universe doesn't even matter anymore, right? And then that's how they ended it, so that in the future, it will never be dealt with again. So, kind of disrespectful. Okay, now I'm done. You can unmute me. Claymore says, ironically, the DCEU's biggest mistake was not doing a Man of Steel before Batman vs. Superman. Yeah, there's a couple of different ways they could have gone along with making the universe. First of all, I am a big defender of Batman vs. Superman. I always will. I absolutely love that movie. I think it was executed very, very well. Albeit with maybe a couple of things I'm not a huge fan of, but regardless, love the movie in a lot of ways. Although, maybe if they just made it clear that Zack Snyder only wanted 5 movies, or however many he wanted, he wasn't looking to make a cinematic universe. He was just looking to make a couple of movies. That's all he was really looking to do. So, I mean, if that's the case, going with Batman vs. Superman and doing what you wanted was fine. But if the point was to make a cinematic universe like Warner Brothers so desperately wanted to, then maybe they should have cooled off on the idea of doing Batman vs. Superman and maybe doing more of a world's finest story instead. But once again, blame Warner Brothers for this one. It's their own damn fault. Josiah says, I feel bad for Dwayne. He fought for years to listen to the fans and bring Cavill just for him to get fired 2 months later. Yeah, I think I think he was done dirty, like a lot of people have been done dirty. And I know a lot of people will make fun of him for failing and badmouth him, but I'm going to be honest with you right now. There was a power vacuum in Warner Brothers. It was up for grabs. I don't blame The Rock for trying to grab Warner Brothers when it was right there out in the open. I don't blame, not Warner Brothers, but DC more so. I don't blame him for doing that at all. It's just he got beat out. He didn't win it. And, let's remember here with James Gunn. First of all, the word is that James Gunn was not the number one guy they had in mind to take over this company. There were like 15 people before him, and then he took it. Also, that same year, on Twitter, he was in some sort of Twitter conversation with people who followed him, and he was asked if he would ever want a job like this, and he flat out said, no, I would never want this job. So, that says something. So who knows, right? I mean, who knows what's really going on behind the scenes right now? And Ginfinity, thank you so much, brother, for the $6.99. I really appreciate that, man. Very kind of you. Thank you for being here. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay. Let's see. Josiah the Brain. Speak your mind. I won't hate you for it. Thank you, man. Thank you so much. We all don't got to agree. It's just good to get different points of view, Guaco says, I think James Gunn wants to raise money with the shows, but they're so obscure that it'll lose money. Yeah, I mean, gain or earn or lose money is definitely the question, right? But so for example, Amanda Waller, I believe, is live action. It's starring Viola Davis, who I think is just as good of casting as Henry Cavill as Superman. Viola Davis as Amanda Waller is brilliant. And it's cool that she's staying, even though it makes the universe a little confusing moving forward. But what I will say is she enough to get people invested in a Waller show for DC? Like, it is funny, the situation we're in. Like, we're talking about getting a Waller TV show for DC, for a cinematic universe that's supposed to just be beginning. So it's interesting. And then Creature Commandos, I'm sure, so Creature Commandos is animation, and I'm sure it'll be some fun. You'll be able to get away with a lot more things in that, probably gore-wise, than you might be able to with live action. But with Creature Commandos, you gotta question how many people actually watch animation. And yeah, the comic book fans in us will, but many general audiences probably won't. So yeah, who knows? I don't think they'll be received well audience-wise, especially Creature Commandos. Bleeding Edge Studios says, I think Warner Brothers and DC is over. Yes, I think so too. I think so too. Bleeding Edge Studios also says, I think the Batman universe is the only thing going forward. I also think it should also be the only thing going forward for the next couple of years, and Elseworld stories in general. I think one thing you can always say about DC, Batman and Batman properties will always make you money. Every other character in DC is a question mark. I know some people have Superman making a lot of money, but there are also a lot of people who don't have Superman making money at all. He is a huge question mark. Like I said, with Batman though, Batman will always make you money. It doesn't matter if it's 700 million, it doesn't matter if it's 1.4 billion. Batman will make you money. That is something that is, 100% certain. I think right now they should unless they will never decide this on their own, unless the DCU gets outright canceled because lack of funds and creative differences, as the excuse will go. If that happens, I think they should just focus on Elseworld stories for at least the next 5 years. I think that's the best way to go at it right now. Blobble said, I think the Superman movie will happen and two other ones will happen and the rest will get canned. Yeah, that's very, very true. Maybe Superman does happen. Maybe we get two more projects, and that's it. Because they just don't have the money, and maybe the fan base isn't there anymore. Hey, if the DC fails, I got the Dark Knight trilogy and the Snyder movies to watch. 100%. I agree with you there. And even though Zack Snyder's story for DC likely won't ever continue for the future, what I will, and it's very unfortunate that we don't get to see Darkseid on the big screen, brainwashing Superman and all that stuff. What I will say is, look, if this DCU isn't for me, if it's not for you or anybody else, there are plenty of other DC movies we can watch. Because I know I can say for myself, the Dark Knight trilogy, Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, Zack Snyder's Justice League, those movies never get old. So I will enjoy them just as much as I did 2 years ago or 4 years ago. Doesn't matter. Do you think Marvel is on its way to being a dead franchise? No, I don't. Weirdly enough, I know how I've been talking might say that I would think otherwise, but no, I don't think it will. I actually think Marvel is going to be okay. They've just been making stupid decisions. Like, not as stupid as Warner Brothers, but like just kind of Warner Brothers stupidity is like I want to punch you right in the face. Like I want to bury you, you know? Whereas with Marvel, their stupid decisions are like, huh? You know what I mean? And I think it's much easier to get around, huh? Than I want to beat you down and like, don't get back up. You know what I mean? So I think Marvel will be okay. Maybe they'll never be Endgame level again. I think that's fair to say. But I think overall they'll be all right. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, let's see what else y'all are saying. They should probably give up on a DC cinematic universe. That is honestly what I would do right now. I know that doesn't excite people. I know hearing that doesn't make people happy, but it's honestly what I would do. The Batman universe films will make money. There are a lot of villains to explore. Maybe they could use them to help get out of debt. Yeah, it's possible. My only thing is like what? How much would you have to make to get out of debt? Because you got Batman 2 in 2025. Penguin is supposed to come out next year. You also have the Arkham Asylum show. There is the GCPD show with Gordon that I believe got canceled. That's no longer happening. What how big would you have to make the Batman franchise to help the DCU? And then here are the complications with that. Even though it's possible, there's a possibility there. The complications with that are, where are they going to get the money to then fund the Batman projects? And what happens if the Batman world is so popular it leaves a lot of people not caring about the DCU, which honestly I think is going to happen for the Batman universe and Batman Brave and the Bold. I think the Batman universe is going to be far more popular than Batman Brave and the Bold, and that will hurt DC and the DCU no matter what. It's going to be competition of which they don't need right now. And I'm just saying, say they said, you know what, we're canceling the Batman because people want to be focused on the DCU Batman. God, that's going to cause another storm. That would cause an, like, DC and Warner Brothers, in my opinion, are already very, unrepairable. That would make it even worse. Like, I don't even know if duct tape could seal any of the wounds there. So, yeah, went on a little bit of a ramble there, but let's see. Yeah, I see what you're saying about James Gunn's blockbuster hit with Guardians of the Galaxy, but Guardians of the Galaxy is not Superman and Marvel isn't DC. The whole point that I'm trying to say here is DC is literally ruined right now. And there's no guarantee Gunn can translate from Suicide Squad and Guardians of the Galaxy over to Superman. Completely different characters with tone changes. We don't know if he can do it yet. Controller Akimbo, I agree. The entire thing reminds me of when Snyder, his OG lineup got announced with Green Lantern and Cyborg. Films were slated and they never came to be. Yeah, it can happen all the time. I don't, like, honestly, the DCU can get canceled just as quickly as it was announced. In all honesty, it can. And Warner Brothers is not shy to do something like that, either out of stupidity or smartness, which they haven't been smart in ages, but they're not afraid to do something like that. Let's see. Of course. This YouTube comment section is always scrolling me back up. I'm almost getting to where you guys are now, I think. Maybe I am, to be honest with you. There's a lot of comments in here. Thank you so much, by the way, guys. If you're in here, keep them coming. Let's keep it going. Okay. Blobbles, I hear ya. I'm sick of mediocre movies. I know, and we have a lot of the studios to be blaming for that. They just want quick cash. They don't want anything, good. Sean Franklin, hey buddy, what's up? Glad you're here. Jay said, just watch my DCEU, man. It's better on the other side, Tyrone. I mean, Daddy. I mean, just watch my DCEU. Should be my nickname on this platform, Daddy. You know what? From here on out, everyone's got to call me Daddy. Hashtag Daddy. There we go. So Blobble says Sony would make movies about Polka Dot Man and the Spook. Yeah. So like here's Sony's out here trying to make what is it with Bad Bunny? L something, one of Superman's like F listed villains. Like why are they even trying to do that is beyond me. I don't get it. Bleeding Edge Studios. I wonder if they sell the main characters, will they be able to do what Marvel did and build a cinematic universe using scraps and B and C listers? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if people would be interested in that. That's the problem with the DC fan base right now. It's so fluctuated. There's a big group who are excited. There's a big group who don't want any part of it. And then there's the middle group who are like, I don't really care, or we'll see. So I don't know how that would work. Yeah, Larini, reboot burnout is a real thing. Why invest in tension into something that just gets canceled? Warner Brothers is on thin ice. Yeah, and if there's any way for ice to bend, I don't know if it has that capacity to bend, but the ice is bending. 100%. It is. There might even be some holes. Uh yeah, AMD too. This company is burying themselves. They are. Uh Blobbles, man. Don't be speaking this into existence. They should make like 10 Daily Planet movies. No, please don't do it. My God. Unless it was like an HBO show where like Perry and Jimmy Olsen had to uncover like these murders going on within the Daily Planet building. All right, maybe I'll change my tone. That'll okay, maybe. Maybe actually that's not a bad idea. I like that actually. Um Simple Man of Steel made $600 million and Superman Returns made no money. Actually, I know it was a different time of movie making and income, but what did Superman Returns make in the box office at that time? Excuse me. Um wow, 391 million. I mean, back then it might have been that might have been a hit back then in a way. Like it was a success. It for sure was, but it wasn't enough of a success to keep it going. God, that's making more than the Flash right now. That's so sad. Um Scoob, it's polka dot in time. God. Uh Ron said that scene was the worst post-credit scene in any movie. I assume you're talking about The Flash, and yeah, I saw it. Was not good, man. Was not good. Uh, Ginfinity. I want a Batman Beyond movie. A lot of people too. And the what was stated is simply the fact that if The Flash did well, they were going to work on a Batman Beyond movie with Michael Keaton. Now, I don't know how that would have possibly changed with the DCU in place, but it was at one time going to happen. So, and I don't even like Michael Keaton, and I would have watched that movie. Superman fans are worse than Spidey fans. At least with Spidey fans, they are getting sick of him being down on his luck all the time, but fans keep wanting Supes to be like Christopher Reeves. Yeah, it is strange, eh? Like, there's no room for growth or change with that character. And it's almost very similar with Batman too. Like, I know Batman has a no kill code. I get it. And I love Batman more than anything, and I respect that code so much. But like, I don't mind when there's variations that are drastically different where Batman is a killer. Maybe he does kill people. I don't understand why we can't have creative people create. Doesn't make sense to me. It's very frustrating to be in this community sometimes, especially DC. DC's just got an awful fan base. Not saying you guys are, not saying I am. I'm just saying there's communities out there that are awful, man. Don't go on Twitter. It gets worse there. Let's see. Claymore says, I'm rewatching random Justice League Unlimited episodes thanks to your JL vids. What a great show. Would love that universe and film. Yeah, that would be really cool. I mean, hey, if James Gunn wants to take a lot of inspiration from Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, I'm all on board with that idea. That would be really damn cool. I think that would be a lot of fun. I'm really hoping, I know I can just like rip it off of a site somewhere, but I'm really hoping Unlimited comes to Netflix soon. I do want to watch those, because then when those come to Netflix, hopefully I will make videos about those ones too. Donovan said, hey, I missed this, bud, man. Hey, gotta bounce. Love the stream and can't wait for the next one. Well, I know you're not here anymore, but thanks for being here. Appreciate it, brother. Liberal Klansmen. I think there would have been less controversy if they just announced a complete reboot. But because James Gunn is cherry picking, it's a bad look. I said this from the beginning. James Gunn should have announced a flat out reboot and not kept his babies. The fact that he's keeping his babies is not a good look. Oh, yeah, I needed that. Oh, yeah! But yeah, it's not a good look. Not a good look at all. Careful, AMD. You'll make a lot of people angry. I think they should bring the Snyderverse to theaters. Man, if they brought Justice League to theaters, I would be there all weekend. I would catch multiple shows, tent out, and enjoy every minute of it. Yeah, Brown Destroyer. Warner Brothers stupidity. We are in competition with each other. Yeah, it's wrong. It is wrong what this company has done. Ginfinity, Thanos almost felt like a Christopher Nolan DC villain. It's the closest they could have ever done to coming to that kind of capacity. That is why, in my opinion, that is why Thanos is my favorite DC villain in the MCU. Oh, and I lost my place. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? Oh, that's why. Claymore's with the $6. Once again, brother, thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. I want to see Martian Manhunter controlling the Watchtower on film. Bravo. Great comment. Absolutely. Martian Manhunter has been avoided for so long. It is really unfortunate. Yeah, it would be really cool to it would be really cool to have Martian Manhunter and the Watchtower, like a Watchtower that Batman builds too. Like, that would just be so awesome. Obviously with the help of the Justice League, but that'd be really neat. But once again, thanks for the $6, brother. Awesome. Thank you so much. Brown Destroyer. Pattinson Batman could have been used for the new DCU. I've actually been seeing a lot of articles lately of article writers, I guess, people saying that the DCU would have been a great starting point with the Batman. And I wouldn't have minded. I understand that Pattinson's Batman was used to be more of a grounded, like the Dark Knight Batman. But you could have grown him into a supernatural Batman, if you will. But yeah, I agree. Just didn't happen. And Ghostly, hey, I'm back from work and made it to the stream. I'm glad that you're here, man. Let's have a good time. Blobbles, I have been saying this for a while too. It's stupid there's gonna be two Batman movies at the same time. So what? You're gonna get The Batman in 2025, and then you're gonna get Brave in the Bold in 2026. First of all, they're not spread out enough. Second of all, I'm telling you, not every general audience is going, and this is a majority of them, a majority of general audiences are not going to know the difference between the Batman and Batman Brave and the Bold. Like, we're living in a time where we're getting two Batman movies at the same time in theaters. One that's in a universe and one that it's in its own universe. There's not friendly competition. And even if there is friendly competition, you don't want that. It's simply just competition. I've said this before, I think in a stream and in a video, and I'm going to say it again. If I was making Batman, which is one of my passion projects, it's a dream job I would love to have one day. If I was making Batman, do you think I want my spotlight taken whether I am Batman, I'm directing Batman, or I'm doing both? Do you think I want my spotlight of Batman taken by another Batman and their director? No, that's the thing about Batman. We want the spotlight. Nolan had the spotlight. Zack Snyder had the spotlight. Tim Burton had the spotlight. Matt Reeves had the spotlight, and all those actors did as well. I don't want another team stealing my Batman spotlight. That's my time, dude. So yeah, if I were Matt Reeves, maybe he does, but if I were Matt Reeves, I'd have a problem with this. All right. All right. Liberal Klansman, one thing I will say, I think it's unnecessary to have the Matt Reeves Batman and the Todd Phillips Joker universe separate. Those should have been merged. And I thought they actually were going to be merged. I didn't think that they were, like, the vibe of both worlds felt way too similar. Yeah, I thought they would have been connected. But that's the thing. Clearly, Elseworld stories sell for them. And the DCEU and potentially the DCU doesn't. It seems like more people are interested in Elseworlds than a connected universe. And I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. Controller Akimbo. I think one thing people are massively overlooking is how much studio supervision actually goes on in Marvel. Gunn probably got constant notes from the studio producers and Feige. Yeah, that's the thing with connected universes. It does start to limit the creativity of your films because you have to start to tell a story within the universe that locks down a lot of the things you can't do. And that's why video games will not work for the DCU. It locks down a lot of creativity for video games. Claymores, I can't be the only person interested in a Venom universe. You know what? I think I saw your comment earlier where you said you enjoy them. I gotta be honest with you. I hated the first one, couldn't stand it. I still to this day have not watched the second one. I do like Tom Hardy as Eddie. I love Venom. Venom is a top 3 Marvel character for me. I know I don't talk Marvel. I know my interests do not lie in Marvel, but I'll tell you guys right now my top 3 characters in Marvel. Not in any particular order, but it is Wolverine, Magneto, and Venom, with Spider-Man as a 4th or a 5th. I love, love, love Venom. And yeah, I can't get into the movies. You're definitely not the only person interested. I personally can't. Bleeding Edge Studios, I would watch a Green Arrow movie if done right. Yeah, I think a lot of us would. I think a lot of us would be interested in what they could do there. And obviously, we would want Charlie Hunnam to be Arrow, but I don't think Warner Brothers would do something like that since they're completely dense. Ghostly. With Warner Brothers lending out IPs, I'd hope different companies can make actual good DC movies or shows. And then Claymore's right after said they've only lent out some music for now. So, yeah, it's getting hot in here, so I gotta take this off. But what I'll say is this. I was talking about this with someone maybe yesterday or a couple days ago, where I said that DC could find itself in a situation that Marvel was in back in the 90s, early 2000s. They had to sell off their characters to other studios because they were bankrupt and going out of business. Warner Brothers and DC could find themselves in the same position, that if they are not making money, which they're not, and if things aren't going to get better within the next year or so, they might have to sell to a completely different company, or they might have to sell their IPs to different companies. We could see something like that happen, unless there's some crazy stipulation in their clause that says they can't. But yeah, it's possible. Yeah, Batman has killed in DC Comics. Yeah. Oh my God, this YouTube chat. Okay, here we go. Where are we? Batman has, yeah, Brown Destroyer said Batman has killed in the comics. And then right after, Bleeding Edge Studio said Batman killed a few people in the Batman, that car chase. Yeah. So the Dark Knight featured Batman killing. The Dark Knight Rises in particular too. I mean, Ben Affleck's Batman killed for a time being. It happens, man. Whether it be intentional or not, it just happens. And see, I do understand. I do understand from that perspective, Blobbles. I don't like it when he kills people, and then after you said it feels wrong, and that is 100% fine. I just think if I were to make a Batman, my Batman wouldn't be a killer, let alone if he killed, it wouldn't be intentional. And maybe it would almost be in like a third party kind of way if someone around him did die. Although I will say, I don't mind it when there's just a different interpretation. But yeah, like, not everyone's going to like it, and I definitely get that. Let's see. Yeah, that's a good point too, DWA. Selfishly, I don't mind it as a Batman fan, but when you think about the general audience, I completely understand. Yeah, that's fair. Because like general audiences, there are some general audiences that don't even understand what a multiverse is. They don't even know if something like that exists. So it can be hard for them to understand that, yeah, Batman there are different characters, variations of these characters. That's just how it works sometimes. So I get it. A movie about Zatanna and Constantine, horror rom-com thriller, would be awesome. Yeah, so honestly, like I keep saying, I don't think the DCU will happen, and I think they should go back to Elseworld stories. And in saying that, give Keanu Reeves his Constantine too. That will make you some money. It's Keanu Reeves. It's a sequel to a movie that people never saw coming. Keanu Reeves can't do any wrong right now. He is a beloved actor, a beloved person in the industry. That's where I would go right now. So then you'd have the Batman, you'd have Joker, you could have Constantine from Keanu Reeves, and then apparently you're still supposed to have that Superman by Takashi Ne Coates. I hope I said his name right, probably didn't, and J.J. Abrams, which has been in development hell. And I had a conversation on one of my posts recently with Controller Akimbo, where we talked about what if that Superman movie made more than the DCU Superman. My God, would things be in absolute, just the deepest form of chaos. Would not be good. um, yeah, I can't believe Warner Brothers is making a solo Blue Beetle movie before a solo Zatanna movie. I love Zatanna, and I've made many videos on this channel before where I said in my Justice League variation, Zatanna would be one of the starting seven. It does suck. It does suck that she hasn't got her own movie or project, even though it was rumored, or maybe not even rumored, but confirmed and canceled in good Warner Brothers fashion. She was supposed to get one, and it never happened. Uh, yeah, I agree with this one too. Justice League Dark getting canceled might be the saddest thing of all time. And the fact that oh my god, why am I blanking on his name right now? Holy crap, this is so embarrassing. Why am I, oh my goodness, Guillermo del Toro. Why, I wanted to say Benicio, but that's the actor. Guillermo del Toro, the fact that he was attached to that project, it sucks. Like, he would have been somebody who would have known how to tackle a Justice League Dark. That would have been beautiful. Beautiful. Uh How do you feel about Gal Gadot, Wonder Woman, possibly getting to stay? Do you think that she should be recast also? Personally, I think it would be better if she was casted as Wonder Woman's mother. So, Gal Gadot will not be staying. I'll tell you that right now. She is good as gone. He will never use her again. I personally think there is truth to the rumors that Gunn doesn't like some of these people. So she's gone 100%. She probably will never be used as another character in the DC universe again as well. If I'm wrong, I will gladly eat my words, but I just don't see him canning Cavill and keeping Gal. Although, like, it was a really weird situation at the Netflix event where she said that there was something going on in the works and that when she knows everyone will know about it. So I don't really know what that means, but yeah, as far as the DCU is concerned, she won't be remaining as Wonder Woman. Blobbles, do you do YouTube as a job or just as a hobby? It's a mixture of both. I have another job, but yeah, I do. I want YouTube to become my full-time job, and eventually I want YouTube to translate into more. Like, I do want to get into film. I do want to like make movies and original IPs and stuff like that. It at one point I've been doing YouTube, oh my goodness, since 2011, 2012. I started with friends, made another channel with friends, then made a channel on my own, and then made a channel again on my own, which ended up being this channel. And this is the most consistent I've ever been. And this channel is actually working for me. And we're actually going somewhere here. So I want to keep this going. It's more than a hobby. The long answer short, it's more than a hobby for me now. I want to make this my career. So yeah. And people like you are helping me. So thank you for being here. Brown Destroyer, JJ's Black Superman movie won't come out, otherwise it would have come out by now. Dude, why was JJ Abrams even given that multi-million-dollar contract? It's like right after Rise of Skywalker, he was offered this stupid money contract from Warner Brothers, and he didn't do anything for the past 5 years. He's done nothing. He robbed Warner Brothers blind. It's hilarious. Let's see. Gunn has a problem with everyone unless it's his friends or his wife. Yeah, he loves putting his wife in his stuff. I mean, I don't know if I would necessarily not do that. Like, I'd put my wife in my stuff. I'd put my friends in my stuff, but sometimes it is a little strange. Ghostly said, I just found out apparently Warner Brothers was working on a Portal movie. Yeah, I heard they were too. Is that still in development though? Portal movie. Let's see. From January 16th, 2023, GamerRanks reports that Warner Brothers still has J.J. Abrams' Portal movie in its 2023-2024 slate. And J.J. Abrams has not done anything since. Let's take a quick little pit stop and see what J.J. Abrams has done since Star Wars. Because it almost feels as if he was somewhat blacklisted. He's probably not, but I'm just curious. If he has done things, they haven't been big. Yeah, it's just been a bunch of producer credits. That's it. Just producer, executive, yeah. It's just been a bunch of executive producing shit. So, like, that could possibly even mean he wasn't even on set for these things. So, yeah, he hasn't done anything, man. Who knows if that Portal movie's getting made? Warner Brothers likes to talk a lot of ish and then never do anything. AMD, I hope you get to a point that you can create films one day. So do I. I really do. That would be a lot of fun, and we'd be able to, I'd be able to create visions that I would want to see in these films one day, maybe. You never know. But the vote of confidence always helps. Do you think the DCU will be woke? I mean, man, maybe. I mean, everything's going down that route nowadays, good or bad, right or wrong. It is happening. Some of it is just so annoying. Some of it is okay, but I mean, it's hard to avoid, right? So honestly, Warner Brothers is a stupid enough company that a lot of people are getting really tired of this quote unquote wokeness, that Warner Brothers would be like, "Oh, people love this. Why don't we keep doing it?" So, I wouldn't be surprised. Mm. Ron says, "Do you think DC movies need to do animated high quality movies like the Spider Verse?" I think it would be in their benefit. I think it would certainly be in their favor. It would be awesome if we could get a Batman verse. Like, that would be super cool. Superman verse would be neat. Green Lantern verse, Flash verse, I don't care. It would be cool if they did something like that, and they'd probably be smart enough to do so. So, yeah. You could do a collab with other similar minded people. I know some people, it would increase your subscriber number. I definitely want to. My only problem is before I do so, I need a better camera. My camera right now is not good. It's battery powered, not the best of qualities. Like, even to right now, I'm using my phone, and this is fine for a singular live stream, but when I'm streaming with other people, I would like my phone on me, and then I would also like to have a much better camera to be streaming with those people. I mean, unless I do decide just to do it on my phone, that's not bad, but I do want, realistically right now, I would like to get a better camera before I start merging with people, but maybe I'll change my mind. But you're right, it would definitely help out a lot, and I might just do it. I might just do it. Um, of course, JJ was supposed to make it. Yeah, and like I said, JJ hasn't been making anything. I don't know what he's doing anymore. Um, what was your reaction to the gay Batman Superman relationship leak? What is this? This is the first time I'm hearing about this. I don't know. If you can send something, send it. I do not know what that is. Uh, mm, mm-hmm. Yep. Very, very true. Brown Destroyer. The problem is that Warner Brothers doesn't promote their animated movies worldwide. Yes, they very specifically promote their DC animated films to comic book fans, not to general audiences who like animation. Although this was interesting. I saw this the other day, and I just thought this was very interesting. Go to YouTube for a second here. I saw the number count, the view count of James Gunn's DCU announcement, and the view count of the Justice League War World announcement. So Justice League War, I'll just put Warlord, War World. Um, it has a total viewership of 2.3 million views. The James Gunn DCU announcement, 1.8 million views. That's it. I find it really interesting that I find it very interesting that a animated movie got, or a trailer for an animated movie got more views than an announcement for a DCU reboot. I mean, that could be telling that people just aren't interested in a reboot, or B, a connected universe right now, or C, both, you know? Very, very interesting. Um, let's see. Is the big T on Mr. Terrific's face supposed to be a giant tattoo, or is it like a mask or something? Good question. Never really gave it too much thought before. Let me look him up. Mr. Terrific. I've never really thought about that before. I I mean, yeah, well, if you look at it from the Arrowverse point of view, that's just a mask. I think it's a mask. Unless he was so ballsy and he decided to literally tattoo it on his face, but I think it's some form of mask. That's what I'm going to say. Um Lurini, that's actually crazy. Jesus Christ. If you mean that off of the uh um what's it called? Why am I blanking here? Yeah, if you mean that off of the viewer count, it is crazy. If DC wants to make money, all they have to do is release a Wonder Woman times Starfire naughty flick. How much? Hmm? It's a mask that helps protect him, but I don't remember from what. Mind control, electronics, I don't know. What does Mr. Terrific's mask help with? Through his mask, Holt can change instantaneously into costume and back again. His mask also protects his face from chemicals. Maybe there is more. Gotta love Reddit. Reddit's always got some answers for you here, guys. Uh, or Reddit's just gonna give you a bunch of people who like to make jokes. So that's what it ended up being. So never mind. Uh, all right. I think we've hit the end of the comments here. So I'll stay on for a little bit longer. Maybe a couple more minutes, but hit me with your comments, guys, if you got any more. Once again, thank you for joining the stream. If you're in here right now and you haven't yet, hit that like button. It really helps this stream get out to other people so we can grow this community and have a much bigger discussion. But this was a really good stream. I had a lot of fun. I know that maybe not everyone is going to see my point of view on the future of the DCU. It is just unfortunately how I see things right now, and it's where I see things going at the moment. I don't really think anything is going to make things better. I just think it's such a down in the dumps company, and they still have 2 more flops to go through. So I don't know what's going to happen for the future, but AMD said some truth. Like and subscribe and share 100%. That is the truth right then and there. I love it. Does Wonder Woman's plane make whatever goes inside of it invisible, or can you see the things inside it? Nah, it makes everyone go invisible. At least I'm pretty sure it makes everyone go invisible. That would suck if you just all jumped into her jet and like your enemies just saw you sitting in an invisible jet in the sky. Man, what a pointless waste of vehicle that would be. Great stream. Thank you, Controller Kimbo. Loved having you here. Do you think Damian in the comics and for all forms of media will take over Bruce as the main Batman? If Gunn has any control over it, and if the DCU actually does happen, that's probably where he's going to want to go with it. I would rather it be Dick if it's going to be anyone. My dream scenario would be Tim Drake would take over Batman. I know a lot of people don't like that one, but yeah. Thanks for the stream. Time to be disappointed at the next episode of Secret Invasion. Yeah, I'm hearing it's really boring, and I'm hearing it's just not as good as people thought it was going to be. Hopefully you're not going to be disappointed, though. Hopefully you do enjoy it. Does it make sense to have Superman to be that young and Batman has a son in the new DCU? I don't know. That's something we're gonna have to see, right? I'm not sure how well that will work. It could work out well. It might not. Tim Drake is my fave Robin, says Ron. That's what I like to hear, brother. Tim Drake needs some more love out here. Is Martian Manhunter actually weak or of fire, or is he just scared of it? I think it is a little bit of both. Is Martian Manhunter scared of fire? It's pyrophobia, yeah. It's a crippling anxiety due to trauma of witnessing the fiery death of his race. Yeah, so it's more a fear, but that is a straight up weakness that he has. Yeah, it's a mental thing. Yeah. But could he ever get past that? Who knows? Maybe with enough therapy. Maybe some Martian therapy will help him. Who knows if he has that? All right, guys. Well, that is it for this stream. Thank you so much for being here. It was a great time, a lot of fun. Hit that like button on the way out if you haven't yet. Hit subscribe if you are new here and you aren't subscribed to my channel for more of this tasty, delicious content. But until next time, everyone, this was a lot of fun, so I'll talk to you all very soon.